and we're back, and happy Valentine's Day. Happy
Wait.
Valentine's Day. Wait, what's
Naomi,
what? Oh yeah,
Eve,
I'm Naomi.
Beth, Eve.
Hi, we have a lot of new subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing.
Look, I brought Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Happy Valentine's Day.
thank you.
And I bought my own box that I was munching on earlier.
They're Brock's.
But they're good flavor. Actually, they taste good. Wintergreen. Ooh, banana. Don't eat the yellow ones. Orange, lemon, cherry, and green.
I don't like real bananas, but I do like banana flavoring.
I'm
I'll
the
give you all
opposite. Real
You don't like
bananas are
any bananas.
okay. I don't like bananas in general. I kind of have, like I said, a love-hate relationship with bananas.
My dog
But-
loves bananas, and my mom used to give her a banana every morning for breakfast.
So what does it say?
So my niece
Oh,
I don't know.
was here, and she's like, "How come you don't give her any bananas? Like I don't buy them anymore."
What does it say?
And so we
Can't
were
read it.
going on a trip,
me.
and she got banana to give my
Don't-
dog.
Don't hug me.
Don't hug me.
Don't hug me. I don't want.
She's not a huggy person.
I'm not.
Anyway, we're back. It's Valentine's weekend, and we're talking about cross stitch and knitting and things with sticks and strings. And I guess I'll go first. What's
And
going on in my
showers
life? Yeah. So it's been a crazy week. So I was talking about Finish It February and all the things that I'm doing for that, or what I wanted to do for that. But early on this week, my daughter was talking to me about a performance she has in March. She's in Boston right now, and her studio is doing an in-person performance, which is really great. At Harvard, I don't know, it has something to do with Harvard. I don't know. But anyway, so she's like, I kind of need a new dress, and she was looking, and so we were looking through her dresses that she had at home, and I was like, oh wow, look at this, I made this for you. I forgot I made it. She goes, I was kind of wondering if you could make me one for this, and I was like, yes. Even though now I'm like, but so I chose this pattern. It's a Vogue pattern, which has its own problems because Vogue doesn't believe that you're normal sized. So I had to adjust the size like for a normal person. But it's beautiful. It's like a special, like a different bodice, and then this says sequins, but we didn't do sequins. And
I saw
And the
what
skirt.
you've gotten so far. It's
yeah, well,
really
I brought
pretty.
the sample fabric because I had to take it to Joanne's today. Because well, I'll tell you that story. But this is the fabric for the skirt, and then I did a velvet for the top. But this velvet that I have in my hand, look how beautiful, is the wrong velvet because this velvet is stretchy, see? And when I bought the velvet, I wasn't thinking, and this fabric is satin, is very heavy. So once I put the skirt, and also when it has piping around the edge of the bodice.
These are very
Um,
nice.
Isn't that beautiful?
You can tell.
And it has piping around the edge of the bodice. Well, as soon as I sewed that on, and then I attached the bodice to the skirt, and I was trying it. I have a dress form. I was trying it on the dress form, and I made the mistake of holding it by the bodice. And so little by little, as I was looking at it, I'm like, something's wrong. It looks all weird. So this fabric just pulled. It's not even stretchy like spandex would be that goes back to its shape. This just pulled out of shape completely. So today I had to go to Joanne's and try to find like the premier velvet that's
So
nice. And
now she can take that velvet and cover seat cushions.
or this one. Well, I'm gonna. She said, well, with the extra, make me scrunchies. So this is perfect scrunchy fabric to make her hair scrunchies. But so I'm gonna do that. But I had to go. I found really nice sturdy velvet. It's gonna look beautiful. So I'm excited about that. So because I was like, well, I think I can read because I was stressing out last night. I was freaking out. And like, well, it's just actually one seam because this dress, unlike others, has you put the bodice and then attach it to the skirt and do the zipper, and then do the lining, and then attach the lining, along the top edge or whatever. Where most dresses I've made that are fancy like this, you do the bodice and you do the lining, and then you attach it to the skirt. Where by then, if you have to change that bodice, you're in trouble.
If that velvet had been on bodice, it would have been stabilized.
On lining, I know.
If it had been on the lining, it would have been stabilized and not stretched. So if it had been that way, you wouldn't have had a problem.
I don't think so. Well, I don't know though. I don't know because when I had to put the piping on the edge first, and just doing that
Was making it out of shape.
stretched it out of shape because you know how the piping is cotton or whatever, and so
Yeah, I hate working with velvet.
yeah. So but the velvet I bought is nice and sturdy. It's sturdy like a satin, like this. So I think it'll be really nice. I had to buy more piping. So anyway, but this is what I've been doing all week. I stayed up almost all night last night. And then I was freaking out at 4 a.m. going, I don't know what I'm going to do. But then I realized it's just one seam. I just undo that seam, attach the new bodice, and we're good to go. So that's what I'm doing.
What event does she need it for?
Oh, I said she's playing at Harvard in March. Her studio is doing they did it last year. It was the last thing they did right before the school closed. I think they had gotten the announcement that the school was closing right the day of or something, and they went ahead and played that. So that was like the last thing she performed last spring.
I'm glad they're
And
letting
it was
them
very
do it again.
emotional. And yeah, they're doing it again, and they're going to do it in person. I think they're just having a limited audience or something. It's like an alumni thing, or I'm not quite, I don't totally know. But so she has to perform in it, and she was wanting something nice.
I don't think we've ever mentioned that her daughter doesn't go to Harvard, but
No.
she is in Boston.
Yeah, I said she's in Boston going to
Yeah.
school. She's in music school at New England Conservatory there.
Violinist.
Yeah, she's a violinist.
A very good violinist.
I don't know what this says.
Yeah, I have several that are blank and several I can't read.
This says Yas. Yaas.
Oh, I see.
Yas.
Yeah, I shouldn't be touching things and then touching my.
But what else did I do this week? Well, I got this book in the mail. I ordered it, and it's beautiful. If you've ever seen this Vogue knitting book, I'd never seen one before, but I'd heard people talking about it online. So I was like, you know what? I'm a grown up now. I need a good knitting book. And this just has like all about yarns, all about needles, all about stitches, and it has like a sort of a little bit of a stitch dictionary, kind of how to do pleats and tucks, patches and pockets, hems, and all kinds of stuff. So it's really a great reference book for and a little bit of, even of designing. So that's kind of fun. So that's my fun present for me today, or this week.
For me to me with love.
For me to make love. So I haven't worked on any of my Finish It February things because I had to make a dress.
Well,
And then, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna keep working on my poor son's sweater. But at least I have time to work on it today while we're sitting here.
I have a sort of a finish. I should have shown it before I put it in the hoop. Let me take that back
Oh,
out.
I was about to put lotion on.
Right now, what I'm doing is putting bunny butts on. So I've been working on this for
You got your bunnies all done.
for the Love to Stitch challenge,
So cute.
and I just I picked it up last week, I guess, and I thought, well, you know, it's so close to being done, and so I worked on it all week, and you know, because like I have a whole pile of things that I was considering starting or finishing, you know, whips and new starts or whatever for this challenge, and but then once I picked this up, you know, I've been wanting to do it. It came out in 2019. It was a new release in 2019, and the minute I saw it, I wanted to do it.
That's so long ago.
But
Like Easter time?
yeah, probably, or in the spring.
Like 2
anyway.
years ago,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it'll be 2 years this spring. Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I have a cross stitch project that I started in Florida.
Oh,
I can never finish it.
of course not. Well, I have some whips that are.
No, I
What?
was just wondering when you said when it came out.
Yeah.
I just was shocked that 2019 was 2 years ago.
But
Shocks me.
but so like I said, I've had it all this time, and I started. I had just done the more chocolate bunnies part, and then I set it aside and didn't, and I thought, well, it really wouldn't take that much to finish it, and so I just worked on it a lot this week, and
Got it
to
done.
the exclusion of everything else, and got it done late last night or early this morning. But it has these little. It came with these little teeny weeny little white buttons. I can't even. They won't even show up. But I'm like trying to figure out the best way to attach them.
They go for their little tails.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a sharp needle,
Yeah.
tapestry
No,
needle.
no, you won't. No,
It'll go
because
through the
it
holes?
should. Well, I don't know.
I don't think
now that
so.
you say that, I
I think you need a real needle,
don't know. Maybe.
a
Which
sharp
would
needle.
put the kibosh on this
I,
project
no,
right now.
I have one right here.
No, well, oh yeah. Won't go through.
The eye probably won't go through the
Yeah.
friendly button.
Yeah. I have one right here.
Oh.
My
Good.
sewing machine is right here.
Because mine are out. I have one, but it's out in the garage in my sewing box. Well, this might be too thick also. Maybe not. I don't know.
You need
On
like
these
a
needles, the
quilting.
eye is fatter, so it's bigger than the needle.
Yeah.
Good luck with
I
that.
don't know if we can get this in here.
Well, while we all watch her try to stick a needle through a button.
I have been working on what is it?
Candy hearts?
Candy heart chart by Fat Quarter Shop. No,
Not the fat
Yes.
shop. Fat quarter shop.
yeah, I think I said Fat Shop
Uh-huh.
on one of my videos. And DMC's Turtle this week. But, oh gosh, I have candy hearts on it. Today I felt like doing something different, so I started, this is Stitching with the Housewives
Here, I'll hold it.
Peep.
Cute.
Unfortunately, my sister and Beth and I were dyeing fabric, and I had it planned what color I was gonna do for which project, and I cut the fabrics accordingly, and then I dyed one of them the wrong color, and it's a mess. So, this was supposed to be on a different project that I'm putting this peep on. But you can't see. I'm gonna have to change the pattern
Is it
somewhat.
purple?
It's purple and white, but
Oh.
the white is the cup,
Oh,
but it
okay.
doesn't show up. So,
You can make a couple different colors.
yes, I could, but I think because I have to have the black to go on the inside of the pattern doesn't have black on the inside of the,
Because it's on
Cup.
black fabric.
because they do it on black fabric, it also doesn't have black in the eyes of the ducks. But since I have to have that black anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and backstitch around the cup. I might not backstitch in black, I might backstitch in some other color, but I think backstitching in black would look okay for those reasons, so. Anyway, I've been doing my 30 minutes a day. Even yesterday, my eyes were blurry all day, and I was having issues seeing even minor things.
From the wind? And
No,
allergies? That's what's wrong with me.
Since
Since
I
COVID.
had COVID, I couldn't see, and not every day, and not very long. It usually isn't, more than an hour or so that things are blurry, and not blurry like I need glasses. Blurry, fine, small things like
Mhm.
trying to read type or something. I was working
I can
designing.
say with your diabetes, you better have you had your eyes checked recently?
It hasn't been a year.
Yeah, but if you have changes, you should go.
I know.
You should get them seen.
I know. I said, I actually put that on my last post yesterday. It's like time to go back to the eye doctor, because it lasted pretty much all day yesterday. I was trying to design something, and you know, when you're designing, you know, it has the symbol inside the color, and I couldn't see what that symbol was to see if it was the same symbol up where I was working on it. And I tried to look at the symbol, and it was just swimming. And I was going, okay, I guess I'm done with this too.
Oh, wow.
But later on, I was able to see better, and I was able to continue with my
Yeah,
cross
especially since
stitching.
Dad has macular degeneration, you also should make sure you have any changes like that. That's
Well, my eye doctor when I was younger said that I would be blind by now, so
well,
I guess I'm ahead of him.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Anyway, I have been doing nothing else this week except I finished this bag.
Oh yeah,
Um,
give it to me. Oh my gosh, Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. That's why she made this with dinosaurs, because she has T-Rex arms, as we always say at home. She made this bag.
she wanted me to make something more for.
I've been
knitters.
begging her for knitting bags. So this has like a little, it's like almost like a Mobius strip
Handle, yeah.
handle, just kind of cool. So the idea is it's like sock size. So and it's got a little magnet here, which is nice. But you can have your yarn in here, and I do this like at doctor's offices. I'll have I have a one that's a drawstring. So, but you can hang it on your arm with your yarn in there, and then you can knit straight out of the bag, and you don't have to set your bag down or. It's really
Forget it.
nice for
You don't forget it
you
somewhere.
know, forget it somewhere, or you didn't have to put it on the floor or whatever. So that's really neat. This is dinosaurs. So
And the magnet that's in there, I'm gonna put that one up on the Etsy site. The magnet that's in there is really strong. So I had some challenges.
Don't put it near your piece maker.
Yeah, definitely not.
but for knitting, you can almost even leave them open in a way.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's a closure that you know, if you have something large in there, it won't come out.
Yeah,
But
that's really nice. But I like the design, because then you can just hang it and knit and not have to worry about.
you know, I'm gonna make bigger ones for
Yeah.
other types of projects, but working with those strong magnets, in order to place them where they don't move around, I have to encase them in a casing, and then make sure I stitch on the side so they don't slide back and forth. And I do the stitching on the sides and one side, but then the last seam I have to trap them in there, and the magnets tried grabbing my sewing machine,
And your needle,
and no,
not the sewing needle,
no,
just
not
the
mhm.
the plate.
The plate on the sewing machine. And then I needed to trim some bulky fabric off of the inside seam, you know, to finish it. I don't want this bulk inside there. And I'm trying to cut, and it kept grabbing my scissors. I'm like, no! And so you're cutting along, and then, you know, and it's like, ugh, stop it.
Funny.
And you know, the magnets that go on needle minders, I go to pick up my project and my scissors come.
Yeah.
You know, but it's stronger than those. I tried all different kinds of magnets to see if it would work when I made that one with the Christmas fabric. And these magnets are the only ones that would go through several layers of fabric and attract to the one on the other side to make sure that it stayed closed when you wanted it closed. There's nothing like a closure that doesn't close properly.
Hey, look at this.
What?
Commercially prepared machine washable yarn. But I just found a little piece of hay in it. And I actually love that. I don't mind it at all. It makes me feel like this did come from a real sheep. I'm glad of it. When I do my hand spinning, I always am picking hay out, which I find it quite charming. I sent some to actually Hannah's violin teacher in Boston, and I said, you know, we hand spinners get to if we make mistakes, we just call it art yarn. And if you do find a little bit of hay in there, and you know, it's charming. It's charming, you know, it comes from a farm, so. But
Yeah. I fell in love with this chicken fabric when I saw it a year ago on their Etsy shop. I was like,
Chicken pattern?
I said pattern, didn't I?
No, you
said
said
chicken
fabric.
fabric. I was like, chicken fabric? You mean
Oh
like
my
the one
gosh.
you made?
I have no brain cells anymore. When I saw it a year ago on their Etsy site, and
Oh, the Peeps one?
Yeah.
and this year when I was getting Beth I bought Beth a pattern for
It was
Christmas.
snow day, I think it was.
Yeah, I just let her choose, and we were looking at the different stuff, and I saw it again, and I was like, I need that.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of, they have, all these, bunnies and carrots there. I'm on a bunny kick, I guess. They have their, I guess, spring, you know, patterns out. There's, one called fancy carrot, there's one with fancy carrot seeds, and one, called carrot patch, and one called crunch. It's a what's in your cup thing, like that. But so it's a bunny sitting in a cup, and he's got a carrot, and then underneath there's a carrot and a couple of radishes.
Mm.
And then carrot patch is two bunnies and a bunch of carrots, and then fancy carrot seeds is a bunny holding a carrot, and he's got, I don't know,
Who are those by?
stitching on the
They're all
housewives.
with Stitching with the Housewives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all and they're so cute.
Yeah, they have a lot of really cute patterns.
Yeah, Priscilla Blaine, the mother of the two, Priscilla and Chelsea. Priscilla is the mother, and she just has, you know, she's the designer, and she just has a lot of really cute design. Right now they have some a lot of St. Patrick's Day patterns.
Oh,
Yeah, they're really cute.
I
forget about
I
that.
don't get real. I mean, when I worked with the SEPA site, I would do stuff for St. Patrick's Day because holidays were important. But pretty much for me, it's, you know, I don't drink, so that's what most people want to do.
Oh, they have one with a sheep in a cup called Aaron Go Ma.
Funny. So, today, what I did was,
Yeah.
okay, here's my story from today. We have a shower with one of those valves that, you know, you turn it for the heat and you also turn it for the volume. You don't have separate heat and cold. So, it's been leaking for a while and it's getting really bad. So, we're like, okay.
Is that the one in the hall?
No,
hall
in my
or your
bathroom, in the master bath. And so, a while back, I had it in my head that it was a Moen valve. And so we went looking, and we wanted to buy, you know, something nice, shower head and handle, matched, blah, blah, blah. And we bought one by Moen, and it had a new valve in it. And I asked the guy, if I have an old Moen valve, can I put this new, what's it called, pressure something, I can't think of what it's called, this new kind of Moen valve in there? And he's like, yeah. And I don't know why I believed him. So I bought it, and then as I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't think we can do this, because it had like the whole T section that you take, you take it out of the pipe and you put this new pieces of pipe in there, and I'm like, we can't get to that part in our shower. There's in the stone, there's just a little hole where the valve comes out. So I was like, I'm not gonna cut a hole in the wall behind the shower. So we started looking and said, well, what we're gonna do is we have to wait till, because every time we talked about it, it was 9 o'clock at night. And like, we have to wait till Lowe's is open, because whenever we do a house project, it involves at least one, probably two, and occasionally 3 trips to Lowe's, because, especially with, like pulling out valves or whatever, pipe, plumbing in a house that's a little older, you don't know what you're going to find in there. And so I knew we had replaced this valve years and years ago. And I remember that we got the hot and cold backwards somehow. But I thought it was a Moen valve. So, but I'm like, you know what, we better take it out, see what it is, and then go to Lowe's and get what we need. And so we opened it up, but when we were at the store, my husband found this valve puller, a Moen valve puller, and he's like, oh, we need this. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Because we learned this when we have replaced our other faucets in our sinks. There's always this little brass compression ring that's on the pipe that comes out of the wall, and that's what the valves, they sink into those and they tighten, and that's what seals it up. But once those pressure rings are on there, they're impossible to get off. And so we actually had 2 different ones, but we finally found this one pressure ring puller that you stick on the pipe, you turn this wheel, and it pops it off. So we decided that's going to be our wedding gift to anybody who ever gets married, is a compression ring puller. But so we figured, hey, look, here's a tool to pull out a Moen valve. Let's get that. And so we take the faucet off, turn the water off, take the handle off, and I'm looking at the valve, and I'm getting this Moen thing on there, and the screw that goes into the middle of the valve, that is what anchors it to pull it out, will not go into the valve. And I'm like, what? Maybe this is just so old. What's going on? On and on and on. Meanwhile, there's this silver thing coming out of the wall, and for some stupid reason, I'm thinking this is the pipe. But anyway, so we work on it forever, and the puller doesn't work. And so we're trying all different things, and finally I said, honey, I'm going to go back to Lowe's, and I'm going to see if there's some other kind of remover that they have or can recommend. So I go back to Lowe's while he's still in there trying to muscle that thing out of the wall. And I'm looking at the valves, I'm looking at the Moen valve, and I'm like, that does not look like what we have in the wall. And then my eyes go up, and up there is a mix-it valve. And I'm like, that is it. And of course the mix-it valve has a nice little, what looks like a nut on it that you loosen. I called my husband and said, stop what you're doing. I'm going to show you this. So I video called him, and I showed him the valve. I'm like, just turn that thing. So sure enough, he turns it, pops it out. So then I got a new mix-it valve and all this stuff to go with it. Finally, but we were at that for quite some time today. Stupid waste of time. So that was my adventure for today. But now we have a nice, dry, clean shower. Which
I remember when you were working with at Redfield, when you were working with those, trying to replace.
Oh yeah,
The
I
whole
remember
kitchen.
that.
No, not the kitchen. The 2 bathrooms.
Mm-hmm. And
Yours didn't even work, I think.
Well,
In the master bath.
and I remember that you were
She worked on that all day too.
At the time, I think they were doing the kitchen because you had to call a plumber in for that faucet, and he was saying something about when would be a good time to, because he was gonna have to go into the wall in your kitchen, because your kitchen and bathroom backed on each other.
That was the bathtub. Yeah. We had to do something in that bathtub. That was in the guest bath.
Mm-hmm.
And our kitchen had blown up not blown up literally, but we found mold. And so we had to have a remediation done, and they pulled it down to the studs. So we decided, hey, let's take all the other cabinets out. So we took our whole kitchen apart, and then we had the remediation done. They built the wall back, and then we built IKEA cabinets into
But before
the
you
space.
before you had done it, you decided to do the bathroom, and so you had like
There was a problem. In
I
there.
know.
Yeah.
I remember you had to like you had to wash dishes in the bathtub
No. I
But-
had to wash dishes in the bathtub because
because of the kitchen.
we hadn't put the kitchen sink back
But
together.
but I remember that the plumber came to to help you guys replace the
Valve in the back.
valve in the bathtub in the bathroom, and
He had to cut
and
through
since
the
your
wall.
kitchen was already torn apart, you know, he
Yeah,
was
we
able
told him to go
through
ahead
the
and
wall.
cut through the wall. Yeah. So I told Mark today, I'm like, you know, this is really like what I think of as our Valentine. Like is it? You know, I like doing a lot of things with him. Like I said, like I love camping and stuff like that. But for some reason, doing house projects, like we never fight about it. He just knows I'm smarter than him. And so I figure it out, and he would admit it to you right now. I figure it all out, and then he's the muscle, you know, and he'll help me get it done or whatever. But I mean, he's not dumb. He's pretty ingenious himself. But
Sorry,
but you know,
I'm there.
I'm better at reading directions. So we've done tons of house projects together.
They
And
do
it's-
it themselves usually.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes we're chicken, but yeah. So you know, it was. We always say, you know, is it even a house project if you only go to Lowe's one time during? So, but we got away with one time. We have to go return that set that we bought that is not gonna work, but that's all right. That can be done any other day. So that was our Valentine day today. But no, so last year, this year, Mark said, "Did you get me a Valentine last year?" I don't know why he said that, and I was like, "I think I did," but I couldn't remember what I'd given him last year. It was so long ago. It seemed like. I mean, the year seems longer than a year, right? But I couldn't remember. But I was like, "I'm sure I did." He goes, "I don't think you did." So I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess that's a hint." So I went all out, and I got him. I started about a week or two ago. I decided to get him some new cards for hand and foot. And I wanted to get him 4 sets, but I could only find 2 unique sets because we have so many.
Mhm.
We have a lot of them already, but a
He
bicycle.
loves
But they have to be
cards.
bicycle brand because that's the only brand we like. So we play cards a lot. So I got him 2 new sets of cards and a thing of those raspberry Pillsbury Pepperidge Farm cookies with the raspberry stuff in the middle.
Mm.
He loves those. So I got those, and I stuffed them in this knitting bag. So, but to hide them from him. This is important information for the end of the story. So then I got him. Oh, my son and I went to this Game Depot store because I thought maybe they'd have more cards, and I thought maybe some other stuff. So we went there, and I found they had these huge 20-sided dice pillows. And then they also had a smaller version that it was a zipper pouch where you could stuff all your like D&D dice or whatever in there. And so I got him the one with the zipper, so I thought that was funny. And it has a little hook on it. But then I went to the guys at the counter and I said, okay, my husband is a board game geek. He goes on boardgamegeek.com and he researches games. He's a total game snob. I said, so, but I want to surprise him with something. So what games do you recommend for game snobs? And they said, those 2 behind you, all the game snobs we know, they like those, they're in. And I looked on Board Game Geek and they had good reviews. So I got him I can't even remember what it's called now. I got him a game. And so I got him that. And then I saw one of the things he's been wanting is a mount for his car because Arizona has that new law where you cannot look at your phone.
Mm.
And he doesn't look at his phone like texting, but he holds it.
Bunny butts.
Bunny butts. Oh my gosh. Okay. He holds it in his hand so he can use the GPS. So so he needed a car mount
Bunny butts.
Look at the bunny butts. So cute. Little bunny butts. Those are cute buttons. They're so little.
Yeah, they're so tiny.
So I got him one of those at Best Buy, and then I got him a bunch of chocolates and stuff, and then I saw something else I ordered online, which I'm not going to talk about it now because if he watches this before it comes, it won't be surprised. So then yet earlier today, and I was like, I need a basket or something to put all this junk in, right? And so I was looking around our house and I was like, well, I have to get up there and dust that one off, or that kind of thing. So we were at I was at Joann's looking for
It's a
velvet
broken heart.
for the new velvet. Oh, sorry.
Broken
Oh,
heart.
that's mine. No, I was at Joann's looking for more velvet at the first Joann's I went to, and I saw these fabric, or like, they look like knitted or crocheted baskets, but they're real, like, industrially made, And I thought, oh, that's perfect. And it was manly enough looking. It's kind of brown. I thought he could use it for cords or, I don't know, something. So I bought that. So then when we got home, my son and I were in my daughter's room, which is now my sewing room, and it was putting it together. I was so excited, and I'm like, and I didn't even think about the cards and the cookies. And so I dressed it up real nice and everything, and then finally, after we ate lunch, in the middle of the shower, we took a break, shower renovation, we took a break and had lunch, late lunch, and I said, I want to give you a present now, and he's like, okay. So I gave it to him. And then we were talking, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what he was saying. He liked everything. He had never heard of the game, but he was real interested in it and all this stuff. And then I remembered the playing cards. So I go and I'm tearing Hannah's room apart, and I'm looking in all the places I hid everything, and I cannot find them. My son went out to look in the car, and all this, and I can't find them anywhere. And I was like, I thought that I bought them. I completely forgot about the cookies. I was just thinking about the cards. And I'm like, I thought about them. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I didn't actually buy them. But no, I remember buying it. So I was really upset. And I said, I'm sorry, honey, there's something else. I can't find it. He's like, it'll show up. So then I'm getting ready to come here tonight. And I open up this knitting bag. And there's the cards and the cookies. I was like, hey, here's some more Valentines. In the middle of this, another funny story from today. I'm sorry if I'm hogging I'm talking, but when I bought that basket, I left it in the car because when we walked in, because I didn't want him to see it. But then I was like, I need to go out to the car for something. You need to stay in your room, I told him. So I was going out to the car, and I always do this, and it's a bad habit. But as the garage door was going up, I duck under before it's all the way up. And today I missed. And I cracked my head really bad right here on the garage door.
I'm not laughing at her pain. I'm laughing at after she got here when she was plugging in a cord that's underneath the cabinet here. She whacked her head on
Right
the other
here.
side on my sewing
Right
machine.
here hurts. And right here hurts. So those are my wacky stories from today, and I just dropped a stitch in this knitting. But it's been crazy. It's been a crazy, crazy day, couple days. But I'm very excited to go home and put that new velvet in that dress, because I'm almost done. Because she's like, could you maybe have it by the end of the month? Because the performance is middle of March. She's like, maybe by the end of the month. I'm like, I think so. So I told my husband, I can't make her dress from 2,000 miles away if I don't have a dress form. So I was able to, I've always wanted a dress form. So now I've got one. It's real nice. It's not the best, fanciest one, but it's nice and adjustable and everything.
The dress looks very pretty on it, even with the stretchy.
The stretched out velvet. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really beautiful. It's a very full, the skirt is, that was the one stressful thing, is that the skirt is huge and it's cut on the bias. So I think I sent you that picture. I had to take this long, big fabric and unfold it and then fold it again on itself and then cut the skirts, one on the fold and one, well, I was going to put a picture of it at the end.
Okay.
I'll put a picture of the dress at the end, but I had to you unfold the fabric, right? And it was like 60 inches fabric, I think. And then you have to fold it again the other way, and then cut the skirt on the bias so that I guess it hangs better that way and stuff. But and then they have the front skirt has 2 big pleats, and the back each back panel has a pleat. And okay, Vogue Patterns, it said to fold the pleat and then baste it down all the way down the skirt. But then at the end, it never said to take that basting out. It didn't say to sew it. It said to baste it. I'm like, I am not basting this beautiful fabric, which shows every pinhole, down the whole entire skirt. Isn't that crazy?
Are you using quilting clips on it?
No, but I'm just saying, it said
Yeah, it's
to
stupid. Vogue
baste
patterns.
it.
Vogue patterns. I've used them before, and I'll make an effort not to buy Vogue patterns.
I mean, they're so beautiful, but
They're beautiful, but their patterns are crazy town.
I'm like, why would you? And I think it said to actually baste it down onto, not just baste this, the edge of the pleat, to fold it over and baste it to the skirt. But I can't for the life of me figure out why. And then nowhere does it say remove basting, But in the picture, it shows the skirt all flowy. So I'm like, why would you need to do that? You don't know how to use pins? Like, I just folded it over, pinned it, sewed it, basted it, and then sewed it in, and it's fine. I don't understand.
Maybe they meant baste it onto the top only.
No, it shows the baseline all the way down the skirt.
Crazy patterns.
Crazy. I don't understand. And I don't know of any fabric that would not show that basting holes in the fabric afterwards.
Yeah.
Maybe a knit wouldn't show, but it's
Those
called for
dress
satin.
those dress fabrics.
Mm-mm.
You have to be careful because every pin
Yeah.
ruins the fabric. If you're working with certain fabrics, if you stick a pin in there, it runs like a stocking all the way down. So
this one shows pinholes, so I'm a little bit nervous on doing the waistband on the new, but I think
that's what I'm saying.
It'll be
Use quilting clips.
no. I'm just saying. No, I'm not worried about that.
That would be what you stitch.
I'm not worried about the pinning it together. I'm just saying where I'm about to take the stitching out is going to show, so I may have to take a little bit more of the seam allowance than normal, because it does kind of show the pin pricks in this fabric, because it's white on the back. It's just printed, so that white really pops through when you stick a pin in it. But
I sewed once when I was in junior high.
I heard you. What, did you make a pillow or something? Sewed it to your own skirt? Something
Oh
like that?
no,
That was brownies.
That was brownies when I was in brownies.
That was embroidery.
Embroidery, yeah. My first foray into embroidery.
Well, I've done those hand embroidery stuff a lot, but I've been doing just cross stitch recently. And I saw a kit for some flowers that are dimensional and they're traditional embroidery, I guess. And I was like, do I want that? And I kind of did. And I thought, no, I'll never make it.
I saw some YouTube videos of this woman. I guess, I don't know, she's an Asian woman, but I don't know where she lives. But of her, like, as big as this table, these embroidery things, and it's like thread painting or something, like using long stitches, just in different colors and
I
different.
think I saw that, yeah.
It's gorgeous. I was like, I want to do that, but I have to stop fooling myself.
Beth doesn't embroider stuff to her skirt anymore.
Well, that's
I've been known to stick a needle through a piece of where the fabric is folded over, stick the needle. It's like, why does this feel wrong? And I'll look, and it's because the corner of the fabric is folded and the needle is, do it. But no, the last time I sewed
with
was
the sewing machine.
was when I was in in junior high, and we took home ec, and so part of it was cooking, and so like I guess one semester or something was cooking, and so they had these little kitchens, you know, and
I still have my recipe book from that.
yeah, and then the other half of the year was sewing, and so I remember I made a tote bag, and I embroidered. I don't know if we had to embroider something on there
We did, so you
or
probably
whatever.
had to.
Yeah. So I had that little tuxedo kitten Nippy. His name was Nippy, the one that you ran over in the driveway.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, Nippy.
Accidentally, I'm sure.
Yes, it was an
That
accident.
couldn't
She
have
had,
been-
yeah, you had gone to visit a friend of yours, and when you came home, you went to park the car on the driveway, and you heard, "Rah!" and it was a kitten.
I couldn't have been driving if it was that kitten that I hit, because that kitten. If you were in junior high,
Oh yeah, that wasn't.
it wouldn't
I
have
guess
been
not.
that kitten.
Yeah, but
By the way, I did accidentally run over a kitten because we were foolish and let our cats go outside.
But so yeah, so I don't know what kitten it was, but I did a kitten on this bag, and I don't even know what became of that bag. But anyway, so I did that, and then I had to make, I think I had to make a pair, like a pattern or something, and it was like a pair of overalls, or it was a dress with a bib top or something like that.
Really?
You had to make a pattern?
No. We had to. Sew a pattern. Yeah.
That's
And
pretty involved.
It was. I think it was a dress that had like a top, bib top or something like.
They had us make pillowcases.
But anyway, I remember I had Mom finish it for me because I couldn't, you know, it was
That's complicated.
yeah.
Well, they made us make pillowcases, and
I would have made a pillowcase.
it's harder. No, it's not like that. It's harder than you think, because you have to have enclosed seams on a pillowcase so the threads don't come out,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to sew down the edge, and then top stitch it around.
I never sewed in school, but
And,
I
and
went to-
then I had to embroider the top of the thing.
I never sewed in school, but I went to the Eve Bird School of Sewing.
I
She
taught her
me
to sew.
Yeah,
I taught her to sew.
during my engagement,
Yeah.
so that I could make my dress.
I was making the bridesmaids' dresses while she was learning how to sew by making a wedding dress. That's what she learned how to sew.
No. I made Mark a shirt.
Is that what you did?
I made
was
Mark
I
a
making
shirt.
your wedding dress then?
Mm-hmm.
No, I made my wedding dress,
Yeah.
but the first thing I made was a shirt. And you and Mom were making my bridesmaids dresses, but I made a shirt for Mark to practice, and it had pocket and plackets and buttonholes and
Yeah, but you had somebody there showing you how.
yeah.
I bought her a sewing machine for her wedding present.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
I still
brides
have it.
should know how to sew so they can mend things.
Well, I was gonna say I took that home ec class in probably 7th grade, and then when I was in 8th grade, they started allowing girls to take shop, and so I was in the
That's
shop class.
unbelievable.
I took shop in high school.
But I mean,
Well,
like,
maybe
that you couldn't before that.
no, I took it at Taylor because Gretchen Pfefferkorn and I used to stand outside. It was, I guess that class was first thing in the morning, because I remember standing outside in the dark waiting for we had a barracks classroom for that class, and standing there outside in the dark and the cold waiting for the teacher to open the door, And because in that class, I remember we made little balsa wood, like a little house, a little something, you know.
Yeah.
And then I also took shop in high school, because in high school I remember that our teacher in that class used to teach driver's ed, and so like once a week or so, or I don't know how often we would watch driver's ed movies in class. But I made a little wooden apple in that class, because he taught us how to use I guess you would call it a jigsaw. I don't know. I don't remember. And we made other things in there, but I remember watching driver's ed movies.
Oh my gosh.
In shop, I took a plastics class,
Mm.
I
and it
remember
has to
that.
be
All that weird stuff you made.
it has to be maintained at 70 degrees, and that's it. So if I look and see it's below 70 degrees or above 70 degrees, I know how warm or cold it is, because I had to wear a coat in that class, because 70 degrees is pleasant if you're walking through it, but if you have to stay outside or you stay inside at that temperature, it starts getting really cold. I loved it. You know, you have to take this OSHA exam before you can make anything, and this exam was open book. He had lectures about it, let you take notes. You could keep your notes open the entire time you took the test.
And people still failed it.
Yes. and it's not like the notes were that hard, you know. It's like, don't cut your arm off, and you know, and
Don't light your neighbor on with a fire.
yeah, it was just common sense safety stuff, and you know, it wasn't like he lectured all day for, you know, a month. He lectured for an hour for a week,
Yeah.
maybe more, and then you took this open book test. You could have the textbook open, your notes open, and your test. How could you fail it? And yet, and you know, and I think a lot of people take classes like that going, oh, this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Shop is not easy.
No. I got to take ceramics, and I remember that in high school. I loved that. I should do
Yeah,
this.
your
My dragon.
is that you over there? That note?
Yeah, the
on
note
piano?
that I made. Yeah, that I made.
You made a dragon lamp.
I made a dragon lamp, which wasn't a very good lamp, but it is a very good dragon. And
My mom kept everything we made.
Yeah.
Everything we made.
I took a ceramics class, an art. Well, it's funny. I took 2 art classes in high school. One was arts and crafts, and one was art. Right. So I had signed up for the art class, and it ended up being arts and crafts, because we did batik, we did clay. That's all those pots that I have that are no. I some
You
of
did
them.
those at the university.
Some of those, yeah, I did those at the university. Ceramics for non-majors. But the little chair I made, the little pin cushion chair, chair. That I did that in that class. We did, but and we did weaving, and you know, all kinds of stuff like that in that class. It was supposed to be an art class, but it ended up being arts and crafts. And so then I signed up for what was supposed to be an arts and crafts class, and it was an art class. And that's when I had that woman Evie, you know. But we learned how to draw it, so that's why I drew an egg. I remember because she had us draw like the shadows all around it, not the egg itself, but all the shadows. And so, you know, but in the end, I had an egg. It was great.
I had an art class.
But I really, you know.
When I was in 9th grade, I had an art class, and the teacher, one of the first projects she wanted us to do was art class. It was art, mind you, art. She wanted us to make latch hook rugs. Okay. And she wanted us to get 2 different colors of construction paper and cut a random pattern and, you know, of both together, and then kind of put them side by side to make a pattern. And
Oh, and make your latch hook road to match that pattern.
right. And she looked at mine and she's like, you're never going to be able to do that. That pattern's too complicated. Because I had little strips.
And you said, hold my beer?
I said, watch me. And mine came out tight and looking exactly like it was supposed to look. And then I think it was the next project, because I believe it was still fall. She said, okay, class, now we're going to make Santos. And I said, no, I'm not. And she said, you have to, or you'll get an F. I said, no, I won't.
Yeah.
And finally the principal told her, you can't tell her that she has to make a religious symbol.
Yeah.
And after my dad went and talked to the principal, and so she said, okay, well, I'll have you make a lithograph while all the rest of them are doing that. And so she gave me, you know, stuff to cut out, and I cut out a ram. And she goes, oh, this is really nice. You mind if I take it and show it to somebody and then I'll give it back? I was stupid and young. And I said, okay, you know, because I was pleased that my teacher liked what I did.
Yeah,
Never got it back.
Jeez.
And because in my my 9th grade class was at one school, which was overcrowded. I was a 9th grader, and so we went to school in the afternoon. The juniors and seniors went to school in the morning.
Because they were building a new school.
They were building a new high school. Well, they'd been doing that a long time anyway, but they were building a new high school, and I can remember times that we had to stay on the bus, 9th and 10th graders, we had to stay on the buses. We weren't allowed into the school because there were all kinds of fights or something in the school.
When I started, when I was a freshman, they were still doing it, except that it was West Mesa and Cibola by then, because they had organized,
The second half we went to the school, right?
Yeah, we went the first half of the year up until April, I think. We were at West Mesa sharing a building with them. So West Mesa students went in the morning and Cibola students went in the afternoon. And then in April, all of a sudden our building, the first phase of our building was ready. And so all of a sudden, like one morning we had to get up at 0 hour and go, just go to school.
0 hour didn't start until later.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
I remember the building wasn't completed yet. The science areas, they hadn't finished. And to get to my science class, I had to go outside of the building and walk around and walk through sand. You're trudging through it like this. And if it was windy, which it always was, the sand is pelting you.
I remember going.
It was horrible.
We had to go to school in a hard hat area. We were going outside.
Like the concourse and stuff.
We were going out. No, in the science area, we were going outside to go into our science classes.
It was going to be enclosed eventually.
Yeah, and they were building the second phase, and so here were these men in hard hats, welding and doing whatever, and here we were bareheaded walking through the.
By the time I got to the high school, it was perfect.
And the concourse, the inside part, it had 4 concrete staircases that were kind of circular. Yeah. And a friend of ours fell down.
That was Michael.
And he fell down and he seriously injured himself. But the inside part of that was all benches, and it was really nice. Had a parquet floor. Didn't last. Yeah, but
I barely remember that school.
Well, I remember the school was kind of pristine until my senior year, and that's when, because everybody who went there when I was a kid, when I was there up until then, were it was the first class to go to school, the first class to graduate from Cibola, the first class to go all 4 years, whatever, but by the time I was a senior, there, there were kids going to school there who didn't care
before.
really. It was
Yeah.
just another school, and so they would do things like in the concourse, the cheerleaders would hang these big long banners whenever we were going to have a football game or something. So they'd get up there like with a scaffolding, I guess, and hang them from this framework that was up there, and they would hang like really, really long, 12 or 15 feet down to the, and they were kind of like, head high or so, and some kids would light them on fire. And then there were locker fires. They would take a match or something and toss it in somebody's locker, and so you'd see
Can you
somewhere
imagine?
there was a locker just all burnt up on the
Imagine if
outside.
your instrument was in there or
Oh
something.
my God.
Well, the music thing was in a whole separate wing,
Mm-hmm.
and it had really
normal
nice
people
practice rooms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But by the way, I just want to let people know I'm not stitching right now because my eyes hurt.
Mhm.
But the
My hands hurt. I just stopped for a minute.
we're so old.
I
Um,
stitched the bunny butts and I took it out.
It was interesting going to a school that was being built around your head, and they would let you know. I was in the second graduating class, and mind you, we had been going to a school that was so crowded. In my freshman year, it was so crowded that they had to have it, split so that they could accommodate the kids, which is why they were building a new one. And but my graduating class was less than 400. It was 343, I think, people.
Well, they let
How
the
can you remember that?
they
I can't
let
remember
the-
anything like that.
they let the senior class graduate from West Mesa because they had been going to West Mesa all their life. So our brother graduated from West Mesa, and Eve was the first class in our family. There was one class ahead of older than you that graduated from Cibola. They were the first class,
They were the
so
ones
they
that
were juniors
They were the ones that were sophomores at when we
at
were
West Mesa. Yeah,
when we were Cibola at West Mesa.
yeah, and so so I remember. Well, and what was funny too for me was that like the 4 years that I went to Cibola, the first 3 years our football team lost. The first year we didn't have any seniors, and so the football team was younger than everybody else that they played, for the most part, and we lost every single game or almost every game, and so we had a really bad record the first 3 years, and then when I was a senior, we went all the way to the quarterfinals. So we were winning everything, and we lost in the quarterfinals. And then when I was in college, when I started, UNM used to lose left and right.
University of New Mexico.
Yeah, University of New Mexico. And then I was a fifth year senior. So when I was in my last year, we won. We went all the way to. I think we played in the WAC. Played against Baylor twice because in the regular season we beat them, but then they won whatever, and so we faced them for the championship, and then they beat us. So
One of the reasons why Cibola had so many problems with vandalism and people setting things on fire and all that is that because it was the newest school in Albuquerque at that time, a lot of kids were sent to that school who were expelled from other schools.
mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of kids that were already problems that were bussed into, brought by parents or whatever, from other parts of the city. And one of the reasons the schools had such a crowding problem is that Albuquerque has a river through it, and most of Albuquerque, well now it's half, but most of Albuquerque is on the east side of the river, and our home and this one high school was on the west side of the river, but it was booming.
Mhm.
And so like when my parents bought their house there on the west side, you know, there was no community there. They just drove up and picked a slab for their house, you know, and you know, you drove up this 2 mile long road and there was nothing, you know, there was nothing there. We had no schools. We had one tiny little grocery store.
Where'd you guys go to elementary school?
Yeah, there was an elementary, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sierra
No,
Vista was
when
there.
I say schools, I mean Beth and I went to school to junior high on. Did you go to Taylor? You went.
Mhm. Across the river,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was across the river, and it too was very crowded.
Yeah.
And
Taylor had one-way hallways because if you went, you know, both ways on the hallway, you couldn't get through.
Yeah.
So you had to go this way in this hallway and this way in this hallway, and we had 2 lunch periods and then eventually 3 lunch periods.
Oh my god.
The advanced band took up the band room wall to wall, back to front and side to side. We were like, yes!
we were so close
And-
to the band director that I played flute, that his baton would whack the folders, and often he'd get so into it that the baton would go flying out of his hand and the flutes would go.
And then the advanced band took up the whole band room, and then the intermediate band they had to split into 3 pieces.
But they never built a middle school up in Paradise Hills
There's
until
one.
there's one now.
Yeah.
But until after even I was
Well,
there.
because of the expense, I think, but because where we lived was an unincorporated part of the city,
Yeah.
and they didn't want to be
County.
incorporated
I'm just curious, like, why, you know, they built Steeple there, why they didn't
because they
build a
had no
middle school.
choice.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, but
But so Sierra Vista was there when you guys were little?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's been
my
there,
my
like,
son went to
300 years?
the same elementary school that I did. What?
It's been there for 300 years?
Yes.
I went 300 years later after them.
And
No,
it's
but
still
it's still
a
there.
nice school. The gym teacher that was there when my son was in kindergarten, she was very, very good, and she won some award that gave her money from the federal government, and she used that to build things on the playground for the kids to do other than swing and, you know, beat each other up.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a
Play with lava rocks.
yeah,
That's what we did.
she had a 1/4 mile track built,
Mm.
and she would stand out there during all of the recesses to mark kids that went around, and if you went around enough to do a mile,
Mm-hmm.
they would get a little foot pendant.
Oh, nice.
And my son had tons of those because he loved to run when he was little. And the PTA would hold fundraisers, and I would go in and help with that. One of them was building ceramics, so I had each classroom build a ceramic something. Each class was different, and we auctioned those off at the end of the year, and that money would be spent on the school somehow. And one of the ways that it was spent is they bought a shade structure for the middle concourse of the school, and also I was there more than a lot of teachers sometimes. I went into every single classroom and had them paint. Every student and a lot of the teachers painted these little tiles, and then the PTA put them on the walls in the
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. When I was at that school, you know, the playground was in New Mexico there, and in that area, it was lava rocks and sand and juniper bushes.
There was volcano sierras.
So there was lava rocks, sand, and juniper bushes was our playground, and so we would it was like, you know, being out camping or something, we just go and sit under the juniper bushes, and then they put those big concrete tubes for us to, I don't know, get in trouble.
Scott Snowden and I used to sit in there, you know.
All right. Anyway, that's another podcast. But anyway, but yeah. So one time in my elementary career there, we had this day where they basically put us in indentured servitude, and we went out and dug up lava rocks to try to make our playground less like dangerous, because you know, if you're running around with your friends and you trip on a lava rock, well, there go your knees, you know. So I don't know if it was just one area or what, but I remember
there was
digging
on
up
the
lava
little
rocks
kids
and
side.
stuff.
The playground was level like this. On the younger kids side, the playground was level like this, and then went steeply down. And that thing right there was lava rock, and so the kids would hide down there. And
I remember that.
And the swings were just on that other side of it. There was a horrific swinging accident there when Beth and I were there.
When I was in
You were in third grade.
third grade, yeah. There was a first through third hallway and a fourth through sixth hallway.
That was me.
And so I was in third grade, and so there was, you know, the playground was sort of L-shaped. So there was the little kids playground and the big kids playground. And so we were on the little kids playground, and we were on the swings. We were on the swings, and one of the rules was you weren't supposed to jump off the swings. They made that rule that you couldn't jump off the swings. You had to stop the swing and get out, you know, so you wouldn't have an accident. And so the bell rang.
Hold on a second. We need to preface this with remember I said we were across the river on the west side and there was nothing out there. There were no hospitals.
Yeah.
And therefore no ambulances.
But there was a firehouse.
There was the firehouse guys, but that's a rescue truck. It wasn't an ambulance.
But anyway, so this kid in my class, we were on the swings or whatever, and the bell rang, so we had to go inside, right? And so he was not wanting to jump out of the swings because we weren't allowed to. So instead of, like, you know, dragging his feet on the dirt to slow down, he hooked his feet on one of the legs of the swing set. So he went to grab the leg of the swing set with his feet, and the swing went back and snapped his hip. And he fell out of the swing set, and he was like screaming his head off. And I remember one of the teachers that was on playground duty. You know, she was trying to help him and I guess try to keep him warm because it was springish, I think, and so it was still kind of cold, and also I guess to keep him from going into shock or something. And I remember my friend Cinda LeVere had a sweater, and so they put her sweater on him to keep him warm, and then we had to go in of course, and our coach went out there with a mat from the PE room.
PE mats, and they carried him down our hallway on that PE mat, and I could hear him screaming from the moment they entered the hallway, and you could hear him going.
I'm surprised they moved him. Like, you would think they shouldn't have moved him, especially since he fell out.
I think, personally, that back then there was less awareness of what you should do. Also, the ambulance took so long to come. That's why I prefaced it with that, because it can take that area when we were little like that. One of my friend's father died waiting for an ambulance. He had a motorcycle accident on the way up the hill, and you know, it could take a long time. When Tim had that drug reaction, it was taking so long that the rescue squad, which was there in that area, was they put him on a backboard and were gonna put him on the back of the rescue truck and just take him that way because the ambulance wasn't coming and they wanted to make sure that he got it there as soon as possible. So maybe, because I don't remember hearing sirens, maybe they met the ambulance somewhere with that little kid.
Wow. Do you ever know what happened to him?
He
never came back.
He never came back to school.
Wow.
But I remember the teacher talking about that he had broken his hip. But he never came back to school. Like I said, it was in the spring, so probably, by the time,
Yeah, but he was third grade or so, and he
never came back for the.
He never went the next year or anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Yikes. Well, on that happy note.
How's school
So now
accidents?
we've covered showers, vows,
Valentines.
school access, schools, and overcrowding, and school access. We've covered it for everyone.
Sorry.
But no, it's
So
okay.
when we get together,
That's
these
how it
memories come.
Right, that's right. Our varied past. But anyway, but it's been a good chat, and we'll be back next week. Please like, subscribe, and put on your notifications so you'll get our next video. And we thank you so much for all of our new subscribers. We're back. We're up quite a bit this week.
We're up 11.
So please share with your friends and come back and pull out your crafts when we start blabbing, and you can just listen to us while you do your stitching or your knitting or your painting or whatever you like.
Your painting.
And,
I thought about bringing painting out here one time, and I thought, no, I'll just make a mess.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'd have to lay down.
But I'll put a picture of the dress in the end.
It's really pretty.
I meant to say, when we were dyeing fabric yesterday, we had a little bit of an accident. Fortunately, I was wearing my old pink t-shirt that I have for dyeing, because I don't care if I get anything on it.
That's from my hair color shirt. Remember when I colored my hair?
But the Eve had used this purple dye that I have, and so I guess there was dye, I guess, on the threads of where you put the cap on, and because I picked it up and I think I had checked to make sure it was closed, but when I went to shake the bottle, purple dye went fing everywhere, and I noticed it was all over my hands, all over my shirt, and it was on this, I had set aside a little, I have some plastic shoe boxes that I use for dyeing, and I, noticed it on there, and so I had a paper towel or something I cleaned it up with, but I guess I flung a little drop of it, was flung onto the fabric that I was dyeing, because later on I was like, oh, there's a little tiny purple dot. So it's very tiny, but
It's character.
I'm hoping that at some point,
It's a design element.
I'm hoping that when I use it, there'll be an X there, and it'll cover up the dot.
Hopefully a dark color X.
Yes.
Anyway,
Well,
we thank you so
thank
much
you.
for coming to spend some time with us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Happy
Bye.
Valentine's Day. Bye.
Bye.